DeCastro to repeal most vehicle safety laws. Jose Chille DeCastro returned to live streaming Monday night with a 90-minute live stream congratulating himself for beating obstruction charges in Las Vegas and announcing that he'll abolish most vehicle safety laws when he is elected governor. DeCastro has traveled through Arizona, California, and Nevada in the past few days and has been concentrating on family and friends as he deals with fixing his broken teeth and the PTSD he claims he has from his time in jail. The YouTuber explained that the entire time he was in jail, he would tailor his sleeping patterns to reflect which guards were on duty, and if an evil guard was on a shift, he'd force himself to sleep through the shift and then be up all night if a good guard was working the next shift. He said he suffered intentional trauma and distress while in jail, as he knew that he had a second trial coming for the recently dropped obstruction charge, and he faced a year or 2 years in jail since it would have been his second conviction. The YouTuber dramatically blamed Justice of the Peace Ann Zimmerman for inflicting emotional damage on him by wrongfully sentencing him to trumped-up charges. Turning his attention to Zimmerman, he said he'd soon launch his lawsuit and media campaign against her to make her pay for improperly forcing him into jail. DeCastro dramatically paused after describing his PTSD and went into a full-throated rage about police and policing in America. He promised that when he was elected to be the executive of an unnamed state in the future, he would eliminate seatbelt laws, laws regulating turn signals and lights on cars, and proof of registration. He then turned his attention to police officers, briefly showing the start to a news story where police pledged more training after losing a lawsuit. DeCastro shouted that more training wasn't enough, police officers need to be fired, and have criminal charges made against them if they act improperly on the job. The YouTuber smiled as he said that now that the second obstruction charges were dropped, it would be easier to strip qualified immunity from the police officers who arrested him in the case and sue them for their immoral actions. DeCastro did not address the growing backlash against him for dropping the claims of being a constitutional law scholar and instead crowdfunding for lawyers to take on his multitude of criminal and civil lawsuits. The YouTuber has made his entire brand around pitching the idea of defendants going pro se without needing lawyers and relying on his teachings to get them through lawsuits. At one point, he said he was selling his own legal documents that could apparently be substituted for the work of a lawyer. These sales allegedly made up a good portion of his income. Now that he has embraced using his fans' money to pay for his expensive lawyer instead of showing his skills as a constitutional law scholar, there's been an observed growing backlash against him for selling his products aimed at self-representation. DeCastro did address the services of attorney Joshua Tomchek, the lawyer who was able to get the obstruction charges dismissed, addressing calls to refund the money of donors since he crowdsourced and no longer needed that money. He said that while he may have had money left on Tomchek's retainer, there was no way to get money back from a lawyer. Announcing a change in his free trifold program, he stated that when he sends out a free physical copy of his trifold, they are no longer professionally printed physical copies of the product. Instead, he substitutes a photocopy of the trifold in black and white, which contains the same information, just in destructible form. He ended up repeating his announcements that the Team DLZ website would soon be launched, and while not defining the purpose of the website, he did mention that he would be uploading exclusive videos to the site for his fans to track his travels across America.